God, I love it. It's beautiful, beautiful. Hello and well met. This is Arm Pachito for Dry Sucks AR, and welcome back. And in front of me we have, probably in my opinion, the funnest vehicle, at least so far, I guess, so far, in War Thunder ground forces that I've played. We have the Jagdpanther. And it's, it is German tank destroyer, fixed tank destroyer. It came along later in the war, so its impact in my mind is questionable. There were actually quite a few produced, considering the limited capacity of German manufacturing at that point. But I think probably one of the biggest drawbacks for it was, by that point, again, it is a superstructure mounted on a Panther hull. And by the point this started getting built, to a lot of the problems with the Panther was worked out. Probably the biggest issue, and this probably progressed along with the Panther and the King Tiger, was the training of the crew. Most likely by that point, your veterans, had already been killed, or there were just very few far in between, or you get into the ideology and the politics of it, and Hitler did not trust some of the aging veterans, especially if you look at some of the documents that relate to the Battle of the Bulge. And I don't want to go too deep into that, because it really, we're here to focus on the Jagdpanther. And the reason I decided to do a video on this, because again, tank destroyers can be a fickle thing. First off, they came to light out of necessity, really. They're cheaper to produce. You can put a bigger gun in them because you don't have to worry about the breach. You have a lot more room for the breach, and so you don't have to worry about either A, hitting the top of the hull, or it gives it more room. There's just generally more room for the breach. It's elevation deviation there, though, gives a little more, even usually generally or more there. Where you learn your left or right really is limited, and of course you don't have a turret, so the tank destroyer has to turn the whole hull. So this requires a tremendous amount of communication between the commander, the gunner, and the driver. And again, that kind of goes back to the point of having really seasoned, trained crews to make them truly effective. Now, again, that's in reality. Now, in game, well, first, let's back up a little bit. First, in reality, usually the Germans and the Soviets use their tank destroyers offensively. The Germans probably more defensively, especially by the time the Jagdpanther came around. They were definitely on the defensive. But when it was used offensively, you definitely had to make sure the flanks were protected. Because again, a tank destroyer typically had a tremendous frontal armor, but the side armor was generally no more than any other vehicle. And so, to deploy these in an offensive capability, or even defensively, you had to make sure that you had your flanks protected by either some infantry and or, lighter tanks, just to make sure to give the tank destroyer to react. And again, as the war progressed, the Jagdpanther was more of a defensive weapon. Now, again, American tank destroyer design had a little different philosophy, and I'd really like, hopefully someday I'll be doing the American chain and go down that philosophy of the way they're deployed versus the way the Russians and the Germans deployed them, based on doctrine. Anyway, enough on that. Let's focus on, though, mainly the history. The history. Well, actually, I would like to take a little, just pull up the wiki page and take a quick look at the history. And I apologize for jumping around. As you do these videos, sometimes you think you got it planned out, and not rightfully so. I get talking and my mind kind of slips off a little bit. But just a quick history on it. Of course, Jagdpanther, or hunting panther, tank destroyer of World War II. And it had the same gun as the Tiger II. So again, here you go. Here is a Panther tank hull, but with a Tiger II gun. Because of the way the superstructure of the fix, it could put that gun with that breech inside of it, which give it in tremendous knockout power. And we're going to go into that here when it comes to the game. Anyway, you can read the Wikipedia, the specifics of it. And again, I always take it with a grain of salt. But it talks about how many were produced. And again, there weren't very many produced. Again, this is getting towards the back end of World War II. We're almost done. So again, even though it was highly effective and probably a well-produced, probably one of the best well-rounded tank destroyers by this point, it was mobile. It had a good gun. Great protection from the front. And even the sides are nothing to really sneeze at. But at the same time, it just wasn't deployed in the numbers. And most likely, at least in my opinion, would be by this point, especially the way if you read a lot of German, there was not a lot of trust in veteran crews, and there just wasn't a lot to go around. So the crews did not get the training that a lot of the earlier crews had on their vehicles. Anyway, back to the tank. Now let's discuss the Jagdpanther in game. First off, it's got a battle ranking of 6.3, which I think is actually, after playing this quite extensively through the Normandy event this last weekend, I feel that this vehicle is probably a little bit low on its BR, or at least it can definitely compete up, into the 6.7, maybe the 7.0 range. Again, if used, as you move up the BR, you got to be a little more cautious, and you can't be as aggressive a play style as I'm about ready to show and talk about. But still, I feel it is viable in the higher BRs. It is a very good vehicle in this game. So first, let's touch on. Okay, so you have a hull. You have 80 millimeters, turret 80. And this is all from the front, and it's Pen 232. It's a 46-ton vehicle. It's not, again, it's a Panther. The one thing it suffers from, in my opinion, is, it's got decent speed, and it actually hull traverses decently. Probably the thing that, when I play the Panther, I get is the backup. Reverse is just awful, god awful. Trying to get reversed, never get your... I guess basically this vehicle, you need to keep moving forward at all times. If you ever get in your position where you got to reverse, in the case of the Jagdpanther, it's good is if you can keep your nose front, everything at the front, you might, especially at the BR it's at, you'll definitely be able to take a little bit of the pounding. But I've just found reversing is very painful. And again, looking at the armor, again, the superstructure, you have 80 millimeters at the front, but effective thickness of 134. Of course, the gun mantle, and this right through here is even more. And this is where its bread and butter is. Lower plate, okay, not the greatest, but still decent. The sides, we drop off fast, okay? This is, again, this vehicle cannot be, you can't get hit from the sides. Looking at the vehicle internally, of course, 5 guys inside this, which is really nice. Again, I like the 5-man crew, especially when you start losing crew members. They can cycle positions, and these vehicles have a tendency, when the more crew you have, of course, the tendency you have a little bit longer to hang around, because you can keep running the vehicle effectively on 3. Anyway, that's a little bit of a standard German layout. Again, your shells are always to the side. Definitely downside if you get hit in the side, you're gonna catch on fire. Again, and then the beautiful 88, the Pak 43, just a phenomenal weapon. What I found with this vehicle in game is I don't typically play it like a normal TD. I found that I tend to be very aggressive, because I can be. And then two, and I'm not saying it's the end all, the beat all. It's not gonna, you're not gonna get killed sometimes, but I found you can get this vehicle to positions that normally would be used typically for a tank destroyer. You know, a lot of TDs, you know, you don't want to get caught in cities or streets. It definitely flanks well. You get out in the back line. I have found I can get into the rear echelon, into the spawn area very quick with this vehicle, where you'll start spawn pushing with it. And again, that brings up a whole nother debate. And I won't go too deep. I actually think I have a kind of a video on spawn pushing, and at least my opinion on it. And my general opinion is if you've let your flanks, or you've broken down enough that the team is spawn pushing, that's your fault, not the team that's pushing it. And that's enough on that for now. But anyway, so again, this vehicle here right now, so far, in all I've done. And I'm slowly but surely, you know, as you know, the weight of the grind is wearing on me a little bit. But this vehicle is just, I found I love taking this vehicle out. It is so enjoyable at its BR, because I think, one, it's definitely good at 6.3, if not 6.7. It is a phenomenal vehicle. And it'll show in some of the video I have, just the gameplay and some of the shots I took. It can definitely reach out and touch somebody from a distance, and it's just going to just rip them apart. It's very seldom that a shot from this gun equal a just destroyed. It's very rare. You just either something, you know, you just pulled the shot a little bit off. And I'm not, you know, and again, you don't even have to be, you know, like a lot of guns sometimes. All right, if I hit here, I know I'm going to kill the vehicle. And this one, I can go, I can be off a little bit. It's gonna tear them apart. Especially any of the, you know, it's like I said, doing the Normandy event, the BR. Against the American vehicles, I really had, when I got inside this vehicle, I really had no fear of any vehicle I encountered from the front. You know, and that's not to say I was nervous if I knew there was a Firefly around or something like that. But I knew I could pen those guys unequivocally from it, just hit them and go. I don't even think I didn't even fear the jumbos. So anyway, again, I just want to do a quick video on this one. Again, this is just a phenomenal, beautiful vehicle. And I'm just, this really, as I said, the grind is wearing on me, and then I hit this thing and went, oh, this is so much. I mean, it just made everything fun. And I'm not saying they're not all fun, but this is really up to my enjoyment, because I was really starting to feel the weight of the later rank 4 grind headed to rank 5 Germany grind. But anyway, I have some gameplay following this. You can check out and see. And again, as always, you know, please subscribe. Give me a thumbs up, thumbs down. You know, tell me what you like, dislike. Tell me what you guys want to see. Again, with my recordings and this, I'm still learning. I'm still trying to figure out what can I do different that 50 other people aren't doing. It's getting kind of hard, as again, I feel War Thunder is really gaining a lot of attention, and there is more. I see more and more streamers every day doing War Thunder. So anyway, let's move on to some gameplay. And as always, may Odin welcome you to Valhalla.
forces have captured a zone.
See if we chose the practice for it.
Yes! Gotta love it. This beautiful, beautiful, beautiful piece of the vehicle. Knew he was gonna stick his foot out there. Now I need to figure out how to get there fast. Can't take the stealth, that's for sure. Get out of here, plane! Eat me! We're gonna have to take the most correct route. Come on, somebody start taking A. Come on, there we go, there we go. We got a tiger east. Come on, 4. This is great, but I don't know.
Pressure on the enemy.
Trick is to try to hug the tree.
Attack the B point.
Normally I would be able to push it through. Good job.
Allied forces have captured a zone.
Alright, Tiger. Vulnerable going up the hill. Nice, I cut the hill. Look the one I shot. I hate when it does that. I should have used machine.
Cover me. If we don't do something fast, the enemy will win.
Honestly, that was what I shot the most.
Oh, stupid planes.
Forces have captured a zone.
Come on, somebody kill that plane. Okay. We can do this, we can pull this out.
Allied forces have captured a zone.
Next. Last. Popped it. Right.
The enemy is winning. We must counterattack.
I wasn't sure if that was a wreck or not.
Preparing. Allied forces have captured the zone.
Like, kind of secure? Maybe? I think we might pull this out. Not favorite plan. I'm gonna shit, dude.
We need to put more pressure on the enemy. They're winning.
I think we bought pretty much.
We're ahead of the enemy.
Oh, that's all she wrote. That was some good work, gentlemen.